Here we go. Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic, non-classics. This is episode number 2691, I believe it is. Correct? Yeah, 2691 and Doubleshot 2585. I have two DC trades that collect mini-series that were released last year. But this first one should have been ongoing, especially since it left open so much more stuff here. First up we have is The Unstoppable Doom Patrol, which collects the entire 7-issue series along with the story from Lazarus Planet Dark Fate number 1. This book is written by Dennis Kovler, artwork by Chris Burnham and David Lafitte. Chris Burnham and Nick Ferrari does the cover art. Oh, by the way, I actually tweeted a couple times in this series to the writer. First, the fact that I tweeted him the fact that I really enjoy this series, and his response used a gift from the Doom Patrol TV show. He says, "Thanks, Hammerhead," and also the fact people were basically tweeting, "Oh, we got the trade for this one." And I responded, "I got one." Yes. Now, mostly put, this Doom Patrol is a mixture of, from what I can tell anyways, it seems like they take elements from the Daniel Way. Anyway, the Jared Way, excuse me, his stuff he did for Doom Patrol, mixed it with regular Doom Patrol for this book. Because for the first time in a long time, we have a Doom Patrol book that features the Brotherhood of Evil. Now, those to be curious though, when was the last time he was featured in Doom Patrol comic? Excuse me. Last time was Volume 5. Which included 13 years ago, by the way. Yes, now, the Doom Patrol is not just a last woman who is back in the team, who was absent from the previous series, for reasons unknown. We have Robot Man, Negative Man. We also have Jane, who is not crazy. I think it's supposed to be Crazy Jane, but she's actually the chief now. Niles Cordair is in the book, but he's not the chief. He's mostly put the bureaucratic side of Doom Patrol. And we have a few other people part of the team. And plus also, I love the fact the jacket itself that Robotman wears. It's a nod to the jacket he wore in the Grant Morrison, which, by the way, that Grant Morrison jacket he did wear during the Jared Way book. And this is basically a white version of that. It's a white variant of the coat. Yeah, and there's like two different strikes here. So the first episode of Dark Fate, we mostly put Doom Patrol is basically brought in to fight 8 killer clowns. And mostly put basically to save people, and they will lead into the main series. We have Mishimala and the Brain, who takes form a gorilla. Yep. And then, of course, basically in this issue, well, by the way, also the Doom Patrol also has the ambulance that was seen in the Jared Way book as a translation. So you could read this book and say it's a continuation of that mixed in with stuff from the previous Doom Patrol books. Plus, of course, Doom Patrol get brand new spiffy uniforms, which is basically yellow and white instead of being purple and white. Now, in the case of Elastigirl, this is basically the same type of costume she wore in pre-Flashpoint, except now it's yellow instead of purple. Yep. And then, of course, basically, in Switzerland, we have the Brain Mission, basically bound people. And then, of course, General Mortalis basically is like, says basically you can't be trusted. We don't need you. Just your calculations. And then, of course, Brain threatens General Immortalis. And then Mishima murders him. Yes. And there's a shot at NDA with the weirdness stuff. Probably borrow some ideas, Major Pollock stuff, which is nice. And then we have Batman and Robin show up because they're in Gotham City. And Batman basically is like, we'll handle it from here. And the new chief is like hell you will, Batman. This is a crime scene, it's a rescue mission. It's not your decision, Jane. Jane is here right now. You're talking to new chief's new chief. I don't care who you are. This is my city. He'll be taken care of. Arkham Tower is special so until No good has come out of Cell and Gotham and Arkham. At best, to become one of your enemies, at worst, one of their victims. That isn't a fair assessment. Only Arkham is temporary. And what? Star Labs? Where he doing more experiments? The Suicide Squad? Your weapon of the government? You don't understand people like a face, Batman. You are metahuman. Okay, my guess is the reason why that he wrote it this way is to poke fun at basically common tropes when it comes to. I would say that you're probably thinking, does this come up insulting aspects of some people kind of like about DC Universe per se, or some criticisms? Not necessarily. It just points out there's flaws, yes, but the whole thing of the Suicide Squad thing, that is something, given the fact that they don't have an ongoing series right now. They have a limited series where Jamie is part of the team, and the book is written by her live-action actress. Yep. Oh yeah, by the way, Batman's only in this one-off issue here. He is not in for the rest of the series. Eventually, we're watching, and of course, leave town. And the issue ends, basically, with General Mortis witnessing Miss Shamel aboard the brain. A few issues later, Miss Shamel sends the remains of the brain to Doom Patrol. Also, the Peacemaker is here. Yes, the frickin' Peacemaker is here. Also, issue 2, we get the debut of the brand new headquarters. Which, I find this interesting, the fact that this is the new base operation Doom Patrol, because normally, if you think of classic Doom Patrol, usually headquartered of a brownstone. Kind of like the JSA normally is. But this is something new. I like the fact it enters as a barn. And I wonder if that is a nod to Golden Age Batman. Because the whole way this is drawn here, it's a clear nod to that, but done in a more modern sense. Especially with their helicopter, they basically open the barn up and they go right down. Those who be curious about it, the barn, the Golden Age Batman, his headquarters was a barn that was on the Wayne family property, and it led into the Bat Hangar, which basically laid the groundwork for Bat Cave. Also, for some reason, the equip room has got a freaking fire pit. Yes, seriously. This is why Chris Burnham basically having fun. Oh, and here's the thing. They also have where the Doom Patrol's physical therapist is Flex Metallo. And you're thinking, Flex Metallo? Wow, that's a old school name. Yes. I don't think he's been featured prior to this miniseries. I think this miniseries was his post-Flashpoint debut, because I do not remember him appearing other books prior to this. Not really. And of course, well, now Square tries to insert some stuff related to Doom Patrol, like Orange and Field Leader, where basically it's oversee activities, and she rejects it. Because apparently, her perspective is that now it's going to try and resume position as a chief. And we also see that Robotman visited the grave of Dorothy Spinner, the character who Grant Morrison developed a lot throughout his run, who sadly died during John S.'s run when she was taking off life support. So they do acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. We have more weird stuff going on here. Also, we found out during the course of this... By the way, we also have the Green Lantern Corps pop up here, where it's Kyle and Guy. Now, I should point out something interesting about Kyle. Kyle, part of this book, he has been absent for a long time in DC Comics. If you think about it, last book it featured was probably... Are you thinking, what was featured in Grant Morrison's Dog Green Lantern? No. Was featured in Green Lantern Volume 5, and as a cameo. You could say this is Kyle's first proper appearance since Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. For Guy, it's kind of the same thing too with him, though he's featured as a backup story currently in the pages of Green Lantern War Journal, which is really good, by the way. Which I believe the feature is drawn by Cat McGuire, who actually loved drawing Guy Gardner. So yeah, Guy, apparently it's got history with Doom Patrol. The stuff like he's never history with him before. Yeah, so... Also, apparently, Starro is on Earth and takes over a girl. And then, of course, you're fighting Starro. Also, look, it's a kid with the Frontier Lantern. Yes. Who... And look, also, you see that kid right there? That's Teen Lantern. Prior to this, last time she was featured was in the Volume 5 of Green Lantern. A book that was actually 12 issues. Though people have had their own conclusions about that run. One guy says, oh, they broke the motion spectrum. No, they did not. I'm like, what book were you reading? Yeah, people swap uniforms, but is the motion spectrum broken? No. When I heard that, I'm like, and I read the book again, I'm like, yeah, what Critical Thinking said was a bunch of nonsense. So yeah, they show up here to fight Doom Patrol, and it's funny. Oh yeah, Ghost mode with the car, and then like and then we have a weird scene here where you have Elasta Woman, the new chief, and a couple other characters fighting the Animal Vegetable Mineral Man. Yes, and this is the real one, not hologram like it was during the Ravengers. This is the legit one. He's another character making his first post-Flashpoint appearance. And this guy was conceived in the Silver Age by Arnold Drake. And this guy is such a goof. It's Silver Age silliness with this character. They go to Smallville, and then of course they continue to fight the Doom Patrol. Yeah, then of course in Haiti, I thought it was Doom Patrol. No, in Haiti they retrieve the remains of the brain. So they go to war. Yeah, reading this book, it's like, yeah, this is meant to be an ongoing series that was made to limit this series for reasons. But this book is a lot of fun. Like, my gosh, if you're a fan of Doom Patrol, like, there's other characters they introduce here. Like, one guy who takes over Doom Patrol, who apparently is working with the chief, Niles Cordair. And, of course, you have meta people take over, and other stuff happens. And then we have the Flex Force. Yes. Flex and Talos own Doom Patrol. Yeah, a few people here. It's basically his trainee team. All about capture the flag. And this is basically part one of a two-parter that ends the series. Of course, you have the quiz, who is, I believe, a Grant Morrison character. Yes, this person's back here for some of Grant Morrison's run. Yeah, and then apparently General Mortis thought we're going to dig up the grave of Dorothy Spinner. Like, that's gross. And then General Mortis melts and becomes the Eternal Flame. Yes, like, what? That's gross. Yes, and then we see, oh, is that Hades from the Brian Azzarello Wonder Woman one? No, it's a completely different character. It just that. Okay, a bit of an explanation why anybody would think this would be Hades from Brian Azzarello's how Wonder Woman run. Because for some reason, Hades was depicted as a little kid with a candle melting over his head. That was Hades, according to Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chang. I do not know why that he was picked that way for. I did not ask Brian Azzarello why he was picked that way. He just was. Of course, we have flashback to Dorothy Spinner here, and then we have Doom Patrol fighting. Well, the Eternal Flame, or a few other people. And it's a fun wrap up of this series. Peacemaker's here. His robot's destroyed. And apparently it's like, yeah, Doom Patrol return, and then we have the Eternal Flame in the Bleed, which leads him into the Batwoman Who Laughs. Yes, a version of Kate Kane became evil like Bruce Wayne did. But this miniseries is a lot of fun. And I really, really wish this was ongoing. Not a separation limited series. But, yeah, my guess is probably DC probably did this because, well, possibly because of the resurgence of Doom Patrol popularity, possibly. But I'm really hoping that the popularity with the sales of this trade does give DC interest to begin to give Doom Patrol their own ongoing again. And also, keep this writer because he did a really good job with this book. It's like we have nods to Arnold Drake Doom Patrol, Grant Morrison, Rachel Pollack. Great nods to them in this book. Overall, really fun book. Give this book a 10 out of 10. Next up is Superboy, Man of Tomorrow. When the first issue came out, Superboy was basically accused of being a fascist. And I read this book like, no, he isn't. Mostly put this miniseries takes place after events of Dark Crisis. It's written by Kevin Pointer and artwork by Joni Lashley, who's the artist and colorer, who also has the cover artwork. Mostly put for this miniseries. This is Connor's first series since the end of Superboy Volume 6. Yes. Oh, by the way, this whole miniseries basically fills in the gap for Connor between the events of Action Comics 1050 and 1051. That is what this 6-issue miniseries is. Do I have a problem with the fact this is a miniseries? No. It's fine. Would this spark maybe an idea of doing a new ongoing for Superboy? I don't know, but Doom Patrol needs one. And of course, when you could tell was before that because you have Supergirl in her outfit she wore from her previous ongoing with John. So most of all, you have Superboy go to space, team up with the 101s. And it's a lot of really fun stuff here. I have got to admit, this basically is... It's not... I would say it's as popular as, let's say, Wonder Woman Tomorrow. Excuse me, the Woman Tomorrow miniseries, Supergirl by Tom King. But it's mostly what Superboy going to space and having a space venture for 6 issues. That's most of what it is. Now, for some strange reason, Superboy was accused of being a fascist. And I read this, I'm like, where did you get the idea of Superboy's a fascist miniseries? Why? Because he wears a spiked coat? He wore this in the fucking 90s! Yes, look it up. He wore this very coat in the 90s. And by the end of this miniseries, he's wearing the red coats they wear in the Action Comics book. Yes. It's a good book. I give the book a 9 out of 10. And, okay, people. Before I end this here, if you're going to say something about a particular book like this, like saying, oh, Connor becomes fascist miniseries, show me the proof. Okay? Because I read this, and I'm like, where in the world in this book is he meant to be a fascist? Like, what scene in issue 1? I read the first issue. There is nothing there that says he's a fascist. Nothing. I read the miniseries when it came out last year. Nothing there. So, what gave people the idea that he was a fascist? I have no idea. But time will tell. But this kind of covers basically, with this review, kind of most of the Superman books released last year. With the exception of Steelworks. I think that's like the only one left to go aside from Power Girl. Yep. Now, do I think Connor could get a potentially ongoing series feature? Possibly, I'm not sure. Do I think he needs one? Kind of, yes. But what stories can you tell with Connor? Power Girl, I understand, because she's a popular character. That's why she's got one. Which just begs the question, why doesn't Supergirl have one? Yes, I also don't like the fact that in her main book, she is not wearing her iconic costume. She was the outfit from the main Action Comics book that she was wearing at the time. But that feature has been ended and replaced with, like, one-story things. Yep. And it is strange, still, the fact that this book does not collect the epilogue to this miniseries. Believe it or not, the epilogue to the miniseries was actually, I think it was in like issue 1057, I think it was. Yes, that's what it depicted. Yep. But not much to say about these two trades. I enjoyed them. Okay, so that's pretty much a particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications, and do hit the dislike button. Next up, more Super Sentai. Okay, next video. Bye.